Good afternoon, and thank you for listening. I'm excited to be here talking about agriculture issues that impact our rural communities here in southern Minnesota. The issue of child care is something that especially affects our rural communities. Much of southern Minnesota, especially our rural areas, are classified as child care deserts. And it can be difficult to attract young families and therefore expand our economy, communities, and workforce if we don't have significant child care options. Sometimes we have high cost and little access to child care. Believe it or not, Minnesota is the fourth most expensive state for child care in our entire nation, and it costs on average more than $16,000 per child each year. It's important to ensure children's safety, but unnecessary regulations and statutes on state and local levels. In fact, in Minnesota, we have more than 400 pages of regulations for child care. Well, that sometimes creates barriers to entry for new facilities and drives up costs for providers and parents. Startup costs for child care services can be at the $250,000 level or even higher. So at the federal level, and as a member of the Small Business Committee, I'm working on legislation in bipartisan fashion. Our legislation, the Small Business Child Care Investment Act, introduced and co-authored with Susie Lee, a Democrat from Nevada, Pete Stauber, a Republican from Minnesota, and Abby Finkenauer, a Democrat from Iowa. Well, it's going to help us grant nonprofit child care providers access to the same types of small business administration loans that for-profit companies have. This will help remove barriers to entry, increase competition in the market, and drive down costs for our hardworking families. I'm also working on legislation that will help give parents and families an individual tax credit and tax relief that will allow the use of pre-tax dollars towards child care services. This would be part of the individual tax reform that President Trump and Republicans are getting ready to submit. The issue of child care is part of infrastructure and other opportunities that we must handle for our rural communities. Roads and bridges, broadband, affordable housing, all of these things, even having amenities for people to want to live in our communities is very important. As your congressman, I will work to help our rural citizens and sustain our way of life.
That's all for today's Ag Update. For more information, visit our website at hagedorn.house.gov. I'm Jim Hagedorn. Thanks for listening.